straight to
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Perspective. Today we have Diamond with us, and she's going to share her story about depression, how she went through it, how she overcame it, and where she is now. So let's give a warm welcome to Diamond. Diamond, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here with me to talk about depression, just talking about anything mental health where we can help others.
Right.
So you can dive right in and start telling us your story, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So my name is Donna. It just introduced me. Thank you for having me. So my story, I went off to college. I would like to say August 2011 when right after I graduated high school. I am a Houstonian born and raised. I went off to Kansas on a track scholarship, and I was so thrilled, like any other person who would just graduated school and would go off to college, so I was very thrilled about that. I've been sheltered my entire life, so a little bit about my story when I went off to college. It was very different for me because I was in a place to where I didn't have any family out there. I didn't know anyone, and after you come from being in a family that shelter you, now you're like, okay, placed here in this world, and it's just you and billions of people in the world. So
that's it.
I thought that, okay, things was great. I tried to really fit in with so many different people. Thank God I've never smoked, but I wanted to try it, but something just wouldn't let me try it. It was just something that wouldn't let me properly fit in. And so I felt as an outcast, and I started to hang around the wrong people. About my junior year of college, I found myself beginning to sink low in battle depression. And I realized I was battling depression after I got into some trouble hanging around the wrong people and getting caught up. I found myself literally one day coming from work and just sobbing, just boohoo crying on the middle of my dorm room floor. My best friend, still my best friend to this day, she came in my dorm room. Actually, she broke it open.
That's good.
And she picked me up off the floor and she looked me face to face and was like, Diamond, you're going to get up off this floor. You're going to continue to live. You're going to continue to fight life. And it was amazing. But just with that depression, you really don't know if you're sinking until you're already in it. Until sometimes it can be too late. And it's so easy to fall into depression. But it's so hard to come out of depression. It's almost like you have to want to get out of it. You have to want more. You have to look face to face to yourself in the mirror. Look at your image and say, I'm going to get out of this thing. I'm going to fight. I'm going to get through this. And my mistakes does not make me. My mistakes, my past isn't who I am.
So tell us a little bit about, I heard you mention you'll feel yourself sinking. And then by the time you understand that you're sinking, it could be too late because you're already there. You're already in depression. What are some of the signs you would say that you're sinking? Is it maybe hanging around the wrong crowd? Is that a sign that you would say? Or what would you say is a sign to kind of notice? Maybe I'm not as happy as I think I am.
Right.
Or maybe I may not be in depression just yet. Maybe I'm looking for something, or I'm looking for somewhere to belong, or whatever it is that they're looking for in that moment. What would you say are some signs that people should look for, maybe going into the route of depression?
Right, so some signs I know within myself at that time I experienced, I started to just like hang around people that I normally wouldn't hang around, be in environments that I normally wouldn't be. Growing up in a Christian household, going to church very often, some of the signs for me was that I wasn't even praying like I would normally used to pray. I got to a place to where I resented God, and that's the worst place you can be in. I was hanging with people and they was doing things that I normally wouldn't even do, wouldn't
Right.
even think to do.
Yeah.
But I even thought about trying it. I was even like, okay, maybe this is something I need to do to relieve this pain, but that wasn't the answer. So some of the signs even was I wasn't even as happy. So your joy, if you're a very happy person, that joy would kind of would kind of eventually fade away because you don't have anything that's really making you happy. Being by yourself, and that's literally the number one way to fall into depression. Being by yourself, being closed in, closing yourself out from the outside world, those are like one of the biggest things that will cause you to fall, because it's something about when the enemy can get you alone.
Yeah.
When he can get you alone, that's how he can really play with your mind, have a field day. So it's very important that we keep ourselves connected, keep being around happy people, doing things that normally makes us happy, having hobbies. Even when you probably feel like, I really don't want to hang around people, still get out there, connect, hang around people.
So tell us a little bit about the day or that night when your best friend did break down the door, came in and picked you up off the floor. Tell us what that moment was like. Did you realize that you had someone that you knew you needed? Did you think that nobody was there? And then that moment helped you understand that there were people who were there. So tell us a little bit more about that night or that day.
That day, I felt like it was a normal day like any other. I thought I felt normal.
Yeah.
I sensed that I was feeling maybe somewhat normal. But I went to class that day. I even went to work like any other day. But as the day passed, I felt myself kind of, I would like to say, sinking. I felt myself becoming sad, actually more sad than what I was. And that's when I left work, I went into my room, and I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And actually about 2 days passed. And that's when my best friend came, and I heard someone knocking, but I feel like I was so far away from that door to even just simply reach and unlock the door. I felt so away. It was almost like I envisioned myself in the middle of this big room. This big room, it was dark, and it was a spotlight just on me. And I saw myself just laying there, just crying and crying. I cried so much that even the next day I woke up, I had so many big bags under my eyes that I could barely even see, because I cried so much. I even drained myself. I became dehydrated. I felt, I won't say I felt as no one was there. The enemy played with me so hard just in that short time span, and blinding me from even picking up the phone and calling my mother, as if you don't have anyone. No one cared about you. Everyone's busy doing their own thing. He played with my mind so much when, like I said, my mom was a phone call away. My best friend was a knock on the door away, because we was in the same apartment. So we shared the same dorms. And she, I won't say she beat down the door, but somehow she popped the lock. She had popped the lock, and I just remember someone saying, "Shanae, what are you doing on this floor? Get up off this floor." And in that moment, she saw me. She saw me at my lowest. And in that moment, I just remember her picking me up and speaking life into me. She spoke life, and even to this day, I thank her for that. I thank her for that, because we need people like that. People who's gonna pick us up and not give a pity party just because we're crying or we want to have this moment. So that moment was very transpiring for me.
That's good. So what would you say to the students who are getting ready to go to college? They get a scholarship and they're going far away. and everything and everybody that they know is no longer a touch away.
Right.
Or like you said, your mom was a phone call away. She wasn't in the vicinity, but she was a phone call away. What would you say to those students so they don't maybe take the route of falling into depression or going with the wrong crowd or trying to fit in somewhere that they know they shouldn't be? What would you say to those students who are on their way? Because you know we have graduation coming up.
Yes.
What is this? Coming up in May, and since graduation is coming up, we're excited about the scholarship.
Absolutely.
We're excited about the new journeys. We're excited to start afresh because you know, exiting high school, going to college, you're an adult now. In your mind, you're an
Right.
adult, right? You're an adult. I made it. I'm here. This is it. It's my time to shine. But there's so much more to learn.
Right.
And so much more that they don't know.
Right.
So what would you say to those students who are on their way to college? They're not going to be close to home. What would you say they need to do with the people who are at home?
I would say you always stay connected. Stay connected. Do not allow life or allow that quote unquote adult mentality to have you brainwashed and saying I'm grown. I don't need anybody. I got this by myself. You absolutely do not. No matter how far from home or close from home, you do not have it by yourself. You will always need family. You will always need your loved ones. They will always have your back. You may be saying like, okay, I have my significant other, I have my close friends who's going to be there. You will always need family. Your close friends is one thing, but family is something totally different. And don't get so into having fun that you forget about prioritizing. You have to prioritize when you're in college because that set the stone, that set the path for where you're going. Because what you do at the beginning of college normally carries out.
That's good.
And you don't want to start picking up habits that you normally just like, okay, I'm just trying this, you know, I just want to have fun. Have fun, but stay true to who you are. Stay true to who you are because when you graduate college, people remember those things. People remember who was this person in college. You don't want to be that person. I only remember them because we used to drink all the time. We used to party all the time, and they don't remember anything else about you. Not, okay, we had class together, we had studied together. No, we partied together, we had fun. And it's just important to have that balance to being true to you, to who you are, but also enjoy college and have fun. And it's okay to do both. It's okay to be that leader and to be different.
That's good. So you just mentioned to be a leader. I think that is a key component of when you decide who you're going to be. As you grow older, you're still trying to figure out who you are. In some instances, you may know a little bit about you. You're still trying to understand who you're going to become. But then you also know that there's a leader in you. And so you say, don't necessarily be known for the drinking or for the partying. But when kids get ready to go to college and they think that they're an adult, that's what they think is, you know, most of them, or a lot of them, I won't say most, just a lot of students think, oh, I get freedom. I have freedom, but freedom comes with responsibility.
Absolutely.
Right? So just because you're free doesn't mean you don't have, like you said, priorities and responsibilities that are going to matter in the long run after college, because college won't last forever. It doesn't last forever. College is at the most 4 or 5 years for one person. You get it done, and then you have to live the rest of your life. And so I thank you for coming to share with us today your story about depression, how you picked yourself back up after depression is what I want you to go a little bit into now. You had your mom, you knew your mom was praying, you felt those prayers. You had your best friend who came and picked you up off the floor. How did you work yourself or will yourself back, even with those people? At some point, you had to decide, I want this for me as much as they do. So what would you say that people who may be in that position now, what would you say that they should do to maybe will themselves or help themselves on the journey to getting back from depression?
First, I would say that it's important that you get it in your mind that I want to get out of depression. I want to be happy again. I want to experience that light from life again. That's very important to make that decision first. But secondly, there's something that has to also motivate you to also get out of it. So for me, it was very important that that I put sticky notes up all across my mirror, all across my room. I think I went through a whole 3 packs of sticky notes. I just wrote Bible scriptures. I wrote inspirational quotes. It was literally everywhere to where I could not wake up and miss it. I had to say it every morning. It became an affirmation.
That's good.
And with that affirmation, I believed it. I didn't just say it because I had a voice. I had to say it and believe it within my heart.
Absolutely.
And that's what really picked me up. It's one thing to have individuals, but sometimes you have to have it in your heart. Seeds have to be planted with those words within your heart. And when they became planted, I knew that eventually we're going to get up out of this, and this is going to become a testimony. And with that, I blogged about it. And with that blog, it received so many feedback and so many help from others. And for me, it was a life-changing moment. That's kind of what had put the icing on my cake. It really did, and I'm grateful for that moment. Sometimes we don't want to experience certain things and we regret, but I would say to don't live in a life of regret or live in a life of doubt, because those things is what mold us for what God is getting ready to do in our lives. Our test isn't about us. The things we go to isn't about us, but it's about God, and our experience is supposed to help other people.
That's good. That's good. So today, as we've talked about depression, as we've come to the close of this episode, our prayer is that you've heard something that may inform you, hey, I may be going down the road to depression. Hey, maybe it's not depression, but I'm not happy with where I'm at, and I don't want to get to depression. I want to get on the right track right now. So we just encourage you to talk to someone, stay close, stay connected, prioritize as you get ready to make the journey. If it's not college, if it's a new job, if it's not a new job, a new home. It doesn't matter what transition you're in, priorities matter. Focus matters. What is important to you, it matters. And so put those things first. Stay close, stay connected, stay prayerful, inform others. Don't be ashamed. I think that's one of the biggest things that we want to point out, is that you don't have to be ashamed. There are others who've been through the journey. She's blogged about her journey. I blogged about my journey. We're all here to reach and teach each other. So if you can talk about it, talk to someone who's maybe been through it, who's not willing to share, but you know they went through it. Be open, and don't be afraid to make the conversation that's needed the one that's actually taking place. So we hope again that you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Blessings.
3, 2, 1.